Hi everyone, this is Anna at Yoga with Anna at the People's Congregation of Shakers and Believers. So, hi everybody at home, hi to those who can't be here in studio, but are either watching through Instagram or YouTube. So, welcome. Hello. So just wait a little bit here while some friends log on. All right, so it's nice to be here. My sanctuary at PCSM Church Chapel. So I'm on my own today. Well, I have Stan with me here behind the scenes.
Hello.
Awesome. And so today's practice, I'm going to first plug my Yoga Nidra class on Friday. So on Friday at 7:30 here at the PCSM Chapel, there's going to be a yoga slow flow and Yoga Nidra class, and it's going to be awesome because if you like to sleep and you like yoga,
Perfect.
it's just the perfect combination. And if you haven't read my blog and you want to come to the class, or you're just curious about Yoga Nidra, I wrote about it yesterday, released yesterday. So I talk all about what Yoga Nidra is and what to expect in a class. And I think our class is probably going to be, our session's going to be probably about, an hour and a half or something like that. So we'll start with some body movement, because body movement always sets us up for a meditation. And then we're going to shift gears and go into a state between awake and asleep. So what's different about Yoga Nidra is that what's different as it defers to meditation is that during meditation, you are pretty fully conscious. Hi, Danielle. So nice to see you here. And Yoga Nidra takes you into this place between awake and asleep. So we create delta waves when we go into REM. And so it basically shifts us into this place where we can create those waves and still be conscious. So it is an amazing practice for you to begin to think about if you want to incorporate this kind of practice, because when we get into this deep, relaxed state, that's when the healing takes place. And when you, for example, I think it's a 30-minute practice of Yoga Nidra equates about 3 to 4 hours of sleep. I mean, that's amazing, right? Who doesn't want to feel like they just slept a long night, right? So it obviously helps with sleep, relaxes the body, and takes you into a different kind of awareness of your body, and it's a complete shift. So it's beautiful. I hope you can make it 7:30 Friday night. Slow flow yoga and Yoga Nidra. Find it on the PCSM.org site under the events calendar, and make sure that you register. Yeah. All right, so today's practice, what I thought would be beautiful to bring in would be a practice of Sankalpa. So I also write about that in my blog. Sankalpa is a way creating an affirmation for ourselves that's unique to us. So I'm going to have you all start lying down or seated, however you're comfortable. I'm going to take a seat. So a Sankalpa is unique to you, and it's essentially an affirmation of anything that you want to work on within yourself. Being, let's say you want to practice more gratitude. So your Sankalpa would be to be in gratitude, right? Or an affirmation that you feel resonates with you. Whatever's going on in your life, whatever you want to change, this is your personal affirmation, and you don't have to share it with anyone, it's just yours. You can change it anytime during a practice, but here we're going to create one, and for those of you that will be in the Yoga Nidra class, that's something that we're also going to tap into. So if you create your Sankalpa here, you can bring that into class on Friday. So let's take a moment here. Like I said, you can start lying down or seated, whether it's in a chair or just seated on your sits bones in happy easy pose or Sukhasana. Removing the flesh from the upper thighs to feel the two sits bones ground in. So again, thank you to all those that are joining us through Instagram and are with us on YouTube. Thank you very much for joining me here today. So take a moment here to shift your breath and come into that natural rhythm of your breath. Hands by your side or relaxed on your lap. Softening your gaze or closing your eyes. Coming to that place of stillness. As you begin to come into that natural rhythm of the breath, just in and out the nose, begin to lengthen the inhales into the belly, and as you exhale, slow the exhales down. So let's take about 3 breaths here. Slowing down our pace, slowing down our thoughts. And as I described today, our thoughts can look like clouds floating in the sky. And as they come in, you could just watch them float away, taken by the wind. And then let's take a moment here to bring the hands, palms at the heart, one on top of the other. Connect to your heartbeat, its rhythm. I invite you here to think of the Sankalpa you want to bring into this practice for you. Your own personal affirmation, unique to you. And taking a deep breath in. Slow exhale out. And then let's bring our hands into Anjala Mudra, prayer hands at the heart center. And I'll invite you here to set an intention for your practice, which is different than a Sankalpa. It is intentions that drive our actions, and it is these intentions we carry through our practice and take with us into our day-to-day as we do Sankalpas, but these intentions drive the actions. Sankalpa goes deep into a pattern change, something you really want to change. And these intentions set are what drives those actions. So it all works together. All inhale, taking a deep breath in together. Slow exhale out. Swallowing at the back of our throats. And fluttering our eyes open. Namaste, everybody, and welcome. All right, so from here, let's press the palms together firmly. Inhale, bring the palms up above the head. Let your palms rise, and exhale, flip the palms. Press what no longer serves you away. Inhale, draw in that energy of your sankalpa. Bring it in, palms pressed together. And as you exhale, bring that sankalpa to heart. Inhale, palms rise. Flip the palms. Press what no longer serves away. And inhale, draw in your sankalpa. Exhale, draw it into heart. One more time. Inhale, palms rise. Press what no longer serves away. We don't need that. And inhale. Bring your sankalpa in. Press your palms together and bring them to heart. Beautiful. All right. Let's separate the hands. Relax them on the thighs here. And let's begin with a little shoulder and neck work. Let's roll the shoulders back. And then come to center. Let's take that left ear to the left shoulder. Come back to center. Right ear to right shoulder. I think when I'm being filmed, there's no mirror teaching, so I'm going to switch it up. I just came from physical classes where I do mirror teach, so coming back to center now, I gotta flip to the correct way. Let's bring that right ear to right shoulder again. Bring the head back to center, left ear to left shoulder. Come back to center, take the gaze over to the right side. Gaze comes back to center, and then let's take the gaze over to the left side. Come back to center, beautiful. All right, so let's take that right ear to right shoulder. Float the head back to center and float the right ear towards the right shoulder. Come back to center. Let's inhale, let your arms rise. Let's interlace the fingers, flip the palms, gently pressing up. Lengthen here. And exhale, release. Begin to twirl your wrists around any direction. And float the arms back down. All right. Inhale, lengthen from the crown towards the sky. So lengthen, creating that length in the spine. And on the exhale, we're going to hinge forward, tuck the elbows. Keep that length, it's just a hinge. Shoulders back. And then gently come back to center. Inhale, lengthen, pull that navel in. And begin to rotate the torso around the pelvic bone. Any direction. And then go the opposite direction. Alright. Bring one shoulder back as you come back to center. And then from here, let's bring the knees together. And then bring them over to one side. Come into a tabletop. Let your shoulders stack over the wrists, hips stack over the knees. Let's get into our cat-cow sequence. Gazes at the top of the mat. Take an inhale, or if you're seated, you can join us in this sequence as well. Inhale, take the belly down, chest rises, gaze rises, as you press into the mat, and then on the exhale, chin will move towards the chest, rounding the spine, tucking the tail. So it's gonna feel a little different if you're seated. If you're seated, you're gonna bring the chest forward and take the gaze up, and as you exhale, you'll round the spine, pulling the navel to the back of the spine, which is the same as you round here. Inhale, drop the belly, take the gaze up, or if you're seated, lead with the heart and take the gaze up. Exhale, chin moves towards the chest, rounding the spine, tucking the tail. Continue back and forth with your breath. Inhaling as you go into cow pose. Exhaling as you go into cat pose. Go at your own pace. Warming up the spine, making sure that we keep our spine supple and safe before we get into any twists, spinal movements. All right. So let's come back to center, and let's bring the hips towards our heels. So we're going to do a little shift of the hips back, shift of the hips forward, shift the hips back, shift the hips forward, take the knees to the width of the mat, bring the toes to touch, and we're going to shift the hips down towards the heels, extend the arms forward, going into a child's pose. So I'm just going to scoot back a little bit. Wide-legged child's pose. Bringing those hips towards the heels. Grounding that third eye. Extending the arms forward. Palms are nice and flat. And then take a little movement here of the hips, shifting back and forth. So if you haven't done any movement today, you might feel a little bit tight to begin with. Slowly, your body's gonna begin to open up. Tent the fingers here, extend the arms, around that third eye. And then from here, let's bring the palms together, bring the palms back towards the backs of the mid-shoulders. Lower the hands, gently press yourself back up. And I just have to walk. Sorry, I had to do that. Okay. All right. So back to tabletop, we just did wide-legged child's pose. And as you all know, I love bringing free movement into our bodies. So coming to table, we're gonna begin to, I'll guide you, and then we can shift into some free body movement. So I'm gonna bring my hips back and begin to circle my hips around. Any direction and going the opposite direction. And then I'm going to start to press forward. Shift back. Circle my hips. So whatever you feel like doing right now with your body in this place, feel free to move. You can move your shoulders. You can drop a shoulder to center, drop the other. You can bring your hips back. You can stretch your arms up. Float the arms down. So anything that feels good to your body, you can sweep up. Shift back. Or you can do what I do. Whatever feels good to you. So remember, listen to your bodies. If something doesn't feel good, don't do it. Yoga is going to feel different in every body. It does help alleviate inflammation and chronic pain with consistency. We can feel good after this class too. Alright, so let's come back to center and coming to tabletop. So I encourage you to listen to your bodies just as we did in free movement. Let's take that right leg back. Keep the toes grounded, press into the heel. Getting a little calf stretch. Bring that leg back, extend the left leg back, press into the toes, press that heel back. And then bring that leg back. From here, let's curl the toes under. Bring the hips back towards the heels. Walk your hands towards you, towards your knees, and then bring them to the left. Sit up nice and tall, opening up the backs of the feet. So this is going to feel uncomfortable. We never open up the bottoms of our feet. Our body is surrounded with tight fascia. It loves to be tight and keep us and hold us together. So these movements here, loosen up the fascia, putting pressure, like stepping on a tennis ball, rolling it under our feet, that also loosens our fascia. So hero pose, we're opening up the bottoms of the feet, and that's gonna feel uncomfortable. So if it does feel uncomfortable, just shift up, shift forward, take a break, breathe, most importantly. Take those deep breaths. All right, let's bring the hands forward, plant the palms, keep the toes curled. We're gonna lift the hips up, walk the hands to the feet. We're gonna be in a forward fold here. Take a nice deep breath, let it out through the mouth. Let the body relax. Feel the torso come towards the thighs, chest moves towards the thighs, crown moves towards the earth. Hands don't have to reach the floor, they can gently relax on the ankles, on the shins, or they can dangle and relax. You can go into a bind, grabbing elbow to elbow and taking a sway. Alright, let's release here. Release the bind there if you have your hands bound, arms bound. Take another deep breath in. Lift the chest, come into a flat back with your hands on your shins. Soften the knees so you don't hyperextend the knees. So hyperextension means when you go beyond the joint range. So you want to soften here and not strain the joints. And then let's root to rise. Let's come all the way back up. Gather that sankalpa. Bring it in. Let the palms touch. Bring it to your heart. Beautiful. Let's inhale again. Arms rise. Let's reach back and exhale. Flip the palms. Swan dive down. Butterfly arms. Come back down to your forward fold. Inhale for your half lift. And then from here, we're gonna take a step. I'm actually at the back of my mat, so I'm gonna forward fold. Inhale here for your half lift, and then I'm gonna switch gears a little bit. Bring the arms back up, palms touch, palms come to heart. Okay. So from here, we're gonna definitely come back into a tabletop. So we're gonna bend down, reach over, come into tabletop, and then curl the toes under, come into a downward facing dog. Let's walk your dog, lifting one heel after the other. Lift both heels, bend the knees, take a hover, lower the heels. And let's take an inhale, lift that right leg up, I don't want to hit anything, and then bring it through. Take your time. If you need to walk that leg forward, do so. There's no rush. Bring that left knee down. We're going to take a rock back and forth with our hips. Shift the hips back. and shift the hips forward. As you're doing this, take a nice breath in and out as you move. Pull the navel in. And when we shift forward, stacking that knee over the ankle, bring that right hand into the inside of the right foot and heel toe that right foot out. Bring that right hand inside the inside of that foot and then take a lean forward, going into a lizard. So I'm not going to lower all the way down, just depending on your practice, your flexibility. You do have the option to lower down. You can use blocks to lift the floor up and raise your bow. I'm just going to stay right here. If you want to take it a little further, tilt that foot out onto the outer edge of the foot. And then bring it back flat. Bring that right hand onto the outside of the foot as you heel toe that right foot back to center. And then from here, shift back again. This time lift the foot up onto its heel and then bring it back down. So if you were doing this before, see if you can keep your foot flat this time. So if you were lifting the foot up off the floor just like this before, when we were shifting back and forth, keep your foot flat. So then you get both movements in. So you can also use blocks here. Remember, blocks lift the floor. You don't have to be low. Two blocks. So it makes you feel taller. So if you're shorty, like me, that helps. But if you've been practicing a while and you could really lean in, you can do that too. You don't need the blocks. Just whatever. I'm such a believer in props. Obviously I teach chair, and chair is a huge prop. But it's so we can make yoga, these movements, accessible to our own bodies. Our bodies are unique, and each posture doesn't have to look exactly like what you see online. It's unique to your own bodies, and props help you access the postures whichever way your body's going to access that posture. All right, so from here, let's plant the palms, curl the toes under of that right foot, and then we're gonna bring that right foot back. Walk your hands to meet your feet. Forward fold. Inhale for your half lift here. And then let's root to rise, come all the way back up. Let your palms touch, palms come to heart. This time we're gonna access that shift again just a little bit differently. We came down into table. This time I'm gonna have you step forward with your left foot and then come all the way down. Right foot is flat. Bring the hands down. Adjust your foot to your hands to bracket that foot. So if you need to scoot that left foot forward, you do that to bracket the foot. And then you're going to begin to bring the hips back towards the heel and forward. Again, you can lift the floor with the blocks. No one said yoga has to look one way or is it perfect. It's not. There are postures that in my body won't be able to access ever because my body isn't made to move maybe like a pretzel. But somehow in our heads we think that we have to look a certain way or that we have to create these shapes. No, it's what feels good to your body. So you don't have to look like me, and I don't have to look like you, and that's okay, because we're doing the same thing. The goal is the same, just accessing it differently. And that's why I love chair. All right, so let's bring that left hand inside the left foot, heel toe that left foot out, and lean forward. So we're stretching that left hip. Breathe. Maybe tilting that left foot onto the outside edge of the foot. If it starts to get too intense on the knee, you could fold your mat to give it a little extra cushion. If you want to bend the elbows and go in a little deeper, you can. I said I wasn't going to. You also can bring in a block. But I'm going to stay nice and lifted. Breathing. From here, let's heel toe that foot back to center. Left foot comes to the outside of the foot. Curl the toes under of that right foot, that back foot, that back knee lifts. And then I'm gonna bring my left foot back and walk my hands to my feet. Forward fold. Inhale, hands on the shins, coming into a flat back. And then let's root to rise, bring in that sankalpa. Palms touch, palms come to heart. All right, inhale, arms rise, look up at the palms, let's reach back. Exhale, let's swan dive down to a forward fold. Inhale for your half lift here, and root to rise again, come all the way back up. Let your palms touch, palms come to heart. Let's release the hands here, come into a mountain pose. Chin parallel to the floor. Feet grounding in, legs toning. So we're lifting the quads, kneecaps lift. Chest rises as you pull the navel in and up. Bring the shoulders up to your ears, roll the shoulders back. Palms face forward, wrists reach towards the earth. Crown lifts towards the sky. Inhale, arms come up. We're going to go into a little balancing pose. Palms touch, palms come to heart. We're going to walk towards it. Lift that right leg up, flex the foot. Balancing on one leg, step forward. We're going to go into a warrior three. Step forward. Bring that left leg up, flex the foot, take a step forward, and we're going to switch the weight to that left leg. Begin to hinge forward, pull the navel in, lift that back leg. Hands can stay at the heart center or reach forward. Palms can stay close together or they can be apart. Balancing stick pose or warrior three. From here, let's inhale the arms all the way up. I'm losing my balance. Come all the way back up. Palms touch, palms come to heart. So our balance is different every day. Cameras also influence my balance. Let's inhale, arms rise, look up at the palms, reach back. Exhale, swan dive down, forward fold, hinging at the hips. Inhale, hands on the shins, but I love coming here because we're all like family, so it doesn't matter if I wobble out, wobble in, you guys too, we wobble back in, wobble out, get back in. Come into your forward fold again. And then from here, again, coming into a half lift, let's root to rise. Palms touch, palms come to heart. Chair pose, inhale, arms come up parallel to the ears. We're gonna sit in our chair. All right, so any high blood pressure, arms just come in front. Other than that, we're gonna bring our arms up, and that's because this raises the heart rate. So shift the weight to the heels, lower down, gaze is forward, lift the chest. Breathe. Heart rate's going up. You're doing great. Pull the navel in. Palms touch. Palms come to heart and forward fold. Inhale for your half lift. And then from here, plant the palms. We're going to take the feet back, bring the knees down, come into a supported plank. From here, bring the hips back, shift forward, curl the toes under, come into a downward facing dog, and walk the hands to the feet, forward fold. Inhale for your half lift, hands on the shins, beautiful flat back, and root to rise. Come all the way back up, bring up that sankalpa, let your palms touch, and bring it to your heart. So same thing, other side, shifting the weight to that right leg, left leg lifts, flex the foot, step forward. So we're slowing down these movements so it makes it harder. Bring, step forward, and then bring up that right leg, flex the foot, step forward, and then we shift the weight over to that right leg. Take a nice deep breath in, and we begin to hinge. Lift that left leg up. Hands stay at the heart, or you can reach forward, strong standing leg, grounding that foot in, reach forward, or separate the arms, the hands. I'm going to bring my palms together. Palms are going to come back to heart, and then I'm going to come back up. Feet come back, hip distance apart, inhaling, arms rise. Look up at the palms and reach back. Exhale, soften the knees, forward fold. Butterfly arms all the way down. Right, inhale, hands on the shins, coming into a flat back. And then from here, plant the palms, bring both feet back, coming into a supported plank. And then let's lower down. Tuck the elbows close, come all the way down. Come all the way down to the floor. Arms tucked underneath the shoulders and elbows close to the body. Feet are about hip distance apart, or if your practice is advanced, bring those feet together. Like a snake, going into cobra. So whatever you're comfortable with, feet separated or together. All right, so from here, ground that third eye in. Press all 10 toes in. Take a nice deep breath in. And on the exhale, lift the chest. Press the hips into the mat. Raise the gaze. Breathe. Don't forget to breathe. This is a posture where we can forget to breathe and come down. So remember, it's not how high up you go. It's just a gentle press up. Whatever feels good. Inhale. Lift the chest again. Press those 10 toes in. Hips grounding. And then exhale. Lower down. Curl the toes under. Press yourself back up. Come into a child's pose. Ground your third eye. Maybe the arms come beside you. Breathe. So you just did a lot. Let yourself rest here. Again, arms can be extended or down by your sides. Whatever you're feeling. If you want to take a rest, you can stay here. Sigh it out if that feels good. Beautiful. Come back to table. So let's lift up, bring ourselves back to table. We're going to thread the needle, get into the backs of the shoulders. Let's inhale that right arm up, open up the chest, and then weave it under that left arm, bring that right shoulder down and extend that left arm forward. Temple is touching the mat, right shoulder, right temple. Breathing. And just letting your right shoulder open up. Gently press yourself back up as you bring that right arm in and up. Open up that chest again, the right side, and then come back to your tabletop. Inhale, left arm comes up. Open up that chest, reach, and then weave that arm, that left arm underneath the right. Bring that left shoulder down, extend that right arm forward. So left temple, left shoulder on the mat. Breathing. And just enjoying being present here. Nothing else matters right now, just this moment. I told my students this morning, I said, when you come in here, you leave whatever reality was happening to you outside those doors. This is now your reality, being present. All right, let's lift ourselves back up. Using our right hand, left arm comes up and comes back down. Setting yourself back into table. Bring those hips back to the heels. Shift forward. All right, so from here, we're gonna extend that right arm out. And then let's extend, lift that left leg up, going into an opposite limb extension. Bend that left knee and reach back. Don't have to grab the ankle. You could just reach back, palm faces inward. But if you have your ankle in your hand, press the ankle into the hand, press that leg up. And then release. Come back to table. Lift that right leg up. Left arm extends. Bend that right knee. Flip the palm with that left hand. Bring it back to reach for that ankle. Can I see? Yep. Again, you don't have to reach. You don't have to touch the ankle. Inhale, gently press that right leg back into the hand. And release. Bring the hips back. Shift the hips forward. Beautiful. From here, come back to center, extend that right leg out. Keep the foot flat. And if you have blocks, you can bring them here to lower down, or you could just stay right here. So this is going to stretch out the inside of the quad, the inner groin. So just hold here. Nothing else to do. Just breathe. Option here to lower down if you want to take that stretch a little further. And you can adjust your foot as it feels good to you. All right, so I'm gonna lift myself up, come up, inhale that left arm up and over. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, reach. Exhale, lower down. Reach forward, plant the palms. Bring that right foot back in. Extend the left leg out. Foot is flat. Again, nothing to do but breathe. Gaze is at the top of your mat. You can lower down on onto the forearms or onto a block. And then let's walk our hands back towards us. Bring them up towards our waist, on our waist, and then from here, inhale that right arm up and over. And exhale, lower down. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, lower down. Plant the palms. Bring that left leg back. And then from here, bring the hips back towards our heels, walking our hands towards our knees. Shift the hips to the left side. Swing those legs forward. And we're going to come into Dandasana, or staff pose. Arms by your sides, palms are flat, pressing into the mat, shoulders are back. Lengthening through the crown, flexing the feet. Let's inhale, the arms up, parallel to the ears. Reach in on the exhale, hinge. Reaching towards the shins or the outsides of the feet, or you can peace finger your toes. Flex the feet. Inhale, lengthen through the crown, shoulders away from the ears, and take a hinge forward. So lots of us can't touch our toes. So if you want to touch the toes, bend your knees. Who says you can't bend your knees and touch your toes, right? Bend your knees, you can hold on, and slowly you can begin to press outward. Eventually, with this practice, you'll be able to extend your knees. On the inhale, lengthen through the crown, bend the elbows, if you're holding onto your feet, and hinge forward. Flex the feet, and release. All right, let's bring our feet to a butterfly. Soles of the feet touch. Lengthen through the crown on the inhale. And on the exhale, gently press the elbows into the inside of the knees, just relaxing the legs, letting the knees fall open. Option here to give yourself a foot massage, like if you've seen in my previous classes, you can give yourself a little foot massage here, or you can just bind around your feet. Inhale and lengthen through the crown, and then hinge forward. You can bring those elbows in front of the shins. So notice I'm not rounding here. I'm keeping length in the spine. Only hinging at the hips. Release. All right. Let's extend the legs out. Bring that right leg, bend that right knee, bring it over the left leg. Let's inhale that right arm up. Exhale, flip the palm, bring it behind you. That left arm is hugging my right knee into my chest. Left foot is flexed. On the inhale, I'm going to lengthen here and then take that twist over to the right side. So another option here is to bend that left knee in. So if your leg is straight out, you can stay just like that, or you can take the twist with a bent left leg. And then take that gaze over the right shoulder. Take a nice deep breath in, and on the exhale, slowly unwind. Releasing. I'm going to extend my left leg out. And we're going to do the other side. So left leg, left knee bends, bring it over the right leg. Let's inhale that left arm up. And exhale, bring it back behind you. Hug in that left knee with your right arm. Flex that right foot. Take an inhale, lengthen, squeeze, and take that twist over to the left side. Again, you can bring that right leg in if you want to take it a little differently. Take that twist. Take the gaze over the left shoulder. Breathe normally. And slowly begin to unwind. Alright, so legs come back in front. I'm going to scoot down a little bit. I'm going to reach forward. So reaching forward, knees are bent, feet flat. And we're going to come back, lean back, coming into a boat pose. So we're going to lift the legs, but we're going to tap one foot after the other. So you can raise the legs a little higher and bring the toes to tap. You can bring the hands out. You can bring the hands behind your head and hold here. Ooh, testing the core. Expand out. Reach forward. All right, and then from here, let's begin our descend down towards our mat. And we're going to come into our flat back. So knees are still bent. Let's see, do I have enough space? Yeah. I'm just going to scoot a little bit. And we're going to do a little simultaneous movement with our hips and our arms. Let your fingers, palms are flat, touching the mat, but let your fingers graze your heels. Knees are about hip distance apart, feet are also hip distance apart. On the inhale, we're going to lift the hips and raise our arms over our head. So on the inhale, hips reach up, arms over the head. And on the exhale, everything comes down. Inhale, arms over the head, lifting the hips. Chest moves towards the chin, and then lower down. One more, lift the hips, arms over the head, chest reaches towards the chin, and then slowly bring everything back down. Bring the knees in to the chest, give a nice squeeze. Tuck the chin to align the neck and the spine. And then you can give a little rock here to massage the lower back. Extend both legs out, arms over the head for a full body stretch. Take that right knee into the chest. Flex both feet. Guide that right knee to the right shoulder. And just breathing normally. And then bring it back to center. Extend. Left knee comes into the chest. Give it a squeeze. Flex both feet. Both knees come into the chest. Extend that right leg out again. Squeeze the left knee into the chest. Flex both feet. Guide that knee to the left shoulder. Bring it back to center. Extend for a full body stretch. Arms over the head. Legs outstretched and bring both knees in. Extend the left leg, out. Give a squeeze to the right knee, and then with that left hand, guide that right knee across the body. Extend that right arm out to a T. Half T, take the gaze over towards the right fingertips. Come back to center. Squeeze both legs in. This is so good for the lower back when we have lower back tension. Extend that right leg out, flex both feet, and then take that left knee across the body. Extend that left leg out. You can release the flex, and then gaze is over left fingertips. Let's come back to center. Arms over the head. Legs outstretch, arms outstretch, full body stretch. And then float the arms down by your side, palms face up. Coming into your final resting pose, let your toes fall open. Let your legs relax. Closing your eyes and letting your body get heavy. If you are lying on a mat, bring the shoulders in to open up the chest. Notice how that really flips your palms out more to open up the chest. Feel the weight of your body be supported by the earth. Feel how your body supports your breath. So grateful for our breath. Take a moment to just scan your body of any tension and breathe into those spaces that you may find need a little more releasing. Jaw can sometimes get tight without us knowing. Releasing the jaw by turning both corners up in the mouth with a smile. Let your eyes fall into their sockets and let your cheeks go soft. Brows soften. Here we access our body's relaxation. And this is where our body integrates and absorbs all the benefits of this beautiful practice. While you enjoy your Shavasana, I'm going to sit up and read to you. Stay there, relaxed, don't move. Enjoy the moment, enjoy the heaviness of the body, knowing you're safe and supported and loved. I love Cleo Wade. Poetic Wisdom for a Better Life in her Heart Talk book. Remember not to care about the things you don't even care about. Sometimes our habitual thinking takes over and we end up complaining or being upset about things that don't actually matter to us. Break the habit. Before you get worked up about something, ask yourself, do I really value this enough to exhaust myself emotionally over it? Ask yourself if it is worth it to have it play on a mental loop in your head. Ask yourself if it is worth your energy or worth your words. Remember the power of words. You are in charge of how much space a thought takes up in your life. Take the time to carefully consider what you let be a part of your being, of your spirit. And I choose all of you to be a part of mine. So beginning to bring movement, gentle movement back into the body. Maybe wiggling your toes and fingers. Rolling over to your right side. Taking a moment to ground that third eye in. And then gently guiding yourself up with your left, pressing up, meeting me back and seated. Hands come to Anjala Mudra at the heart center. Holding your sankalpa here. Inviting you to join me with the prayer hands up to your third eye as a reminder to think kind thoughts. Down in front of our lips as a reminder to speak kind words. And back down in front of our hearts as a reminder to live life full of love, joy, grace, and inner strength. My heart honors yours. Thank you so much for joining me today.